Now, a hot second ago, we heard from the Northern Awareness Initiative, a group of prominent Northerners warning against returning the ruling APC to power in 2023 and suggesting that nothing could be more destructive for Nigeria. They called on Northerners in particular and Nigerians in general not to support the APC candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu if they want to save this country from economic crisis, insecurity and disunity, but instead to vote for leadership with credibility and integrity by supporting Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. But in a sharp rebuke, the APC has called on the PDP to first of all put its own house in order and sort out the various groups leading rebellions that have left the party in disarray. If Atiku was that good, the APC said, why isn't he getting the support of the man he served under as Vice President Olusegun Obasanjo, who seems to be endorsing the candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi? Well, for more on the APC's reaction, I'm joined now in the studio by a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Ima Niboro, who is also spokesperson of the APC Campaign Council in Delta State. He was a former presidential spokesman under Goodluck Jonathan and former managing director of the news agency of Nigeria. I mean, I could go on. We could just keep talking about the things that you've done and forget the rest of the interview. Well, I mean, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you,
and you heard the leader of the Northern Awareness Initiative there, Dr. Ladan Salihu, who supports Atiku Abubakar, calling on Nigerians to reject the APC absolutely in 2023. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Ladan Salihu is also the chief of staff to the Bauchi State government. So these are PDP people. The chair of that group, what's his name? Yusuf. Somebody who has a major axe.
You mean Professor Usman Yusuf?
Usman Yusuf has a major axe to grind with APC and President Buhari having been fired from NHIS. He's the one, within 1 year of his tenure there, ICPC and EFCC descended on him, and the rest is history. You see, these are PDP organs, and they are campaigning. So I'm not going to waste my time with them.
Well,
what they should do is to reach out to the people and tell them what they are going to do differently.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
They cannot come and say that do not vote for PDP, APC, vote for Atiku Abubakar. What is the basis of that?
Well, let me paraphrase him, and I'm not his spokesman, you posed a question,
yes.
And he's not here to answer,
yes.
And that I have to play the devil's advocate. Yes. The point is this, their contention is that Nigerians, you cannot honestly expect Nigerians to vote for the APC after nearly 8 years of what many see as an unspeakably difficult time under President Buhari, not just economically, but in terms of security, in terms of the number of people who are now mired in poverty, in terms of the amount of the perception of disunity in this country. And those are just 4 issues that on the basis of that, you don't deserve to come back in 2023.
Let me tell you this. These are people who are just on campaign hustings, throwing out figures and a lot of noise. Let me tell you. First, Buhari is not on the ballot.
The APC is on the ballot. It's the same party.
Yes, it's the same party. But let me tell you this, that we are moving forward. We are not looking backwards. And if you indeed want to look backwards, I can tell you confidently that these same people are the people who connived to kick the last PDP president out of office. They gave Goodluck Jonathan every name that was possible. We have a party chairman who was also from Bauchi State, like Ladan Salihu, who virtually sold the party lock, stock, barrel to the opposition then. They drove Goodluck Jonathan out of office. Goodluck Jonathan built Almajiri schools. They are talking about out-of-school children. Goodluck Jonathan built Almajiri schools, about 140 of them in the north. These same people, these same PDP people, including Atiku Abubakar, their leader, connived to kick him out of office. They gave him every name that was possible. So what are they talking about now? You see, this is just politics. And I don't want to waste time with people like this. They cannot win. They know that. So they are trying to whip up all kinds of sentiment. These are the best times for APC. APC is having a smooth ride to the presidency. Look at their party. Their party is in total disarray.
Well,
they cannot even, no Charles, they cannot even put themselves together in any reasonable fashion. A party that's built on lies. You have a party chairman that came and said that if the presidential candidate comes from the north, I will resign, and then suddenly changes his mind. You have a vice presidential candidate who convened a meeting of the entire southern governors in Asaba. He read the communique. I'm talking of my state governor, Ifeanyi Okowa. He read the communique, and that the presidency must come to the south, and then goes through the back and purchases the vice presidential slots. These are a bunch of liars. There are people who are dishonest. There are people who are disingenuous. They have never told the truth in a day of their lives. Why should anybody take them seriously?
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
As a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, who himself was recently a member of the very PDP that you're castigating, tell us why Nigerians should vote for the APC. How has the APC changed the lives of Nigerians for the better? What's the great milestone that we can attribute to the party in the last 8 years?
You see, there is one thing I always say, that an incumbent government always has the toughest time because nobody listens to you. In a country like Nigeria, the issues are there are life issues that even government sometimes find difficult to contain. Government is working in this direction. I was in government. I served at the highest levels of government in this country. And I know the things that happen to us. We are here thinking of how to solve this problem, and then in the morning, news breaks about something that has happened somewhere in Chibok. You understand? It is horrible. But in this government, I'm not Buhari's spokesman, but I know that one of the greatest things that Buhari did was, in spite of all the issues that he tried to kick up against the previous government, he followed through with projects and programs of that government while bringing in his own programs and projects. That's why you see today, the rails are working, the airports are working. One of the greatest things you find in Nigeria today is that travel is made a lot easier. Movement of goods and services.
Well, how can travel be easier when there's insecurity everywhere?
Yes, because these are the things when you are planning in this direction, you find criminals and never-do-wells trying to get you unstuck on one side.
But it's your job to, as in government, to arrest
everywhere in the world.
Problems. And
everywhere
if
in
you
the
fail,
world,
then you don't deserve to be voted back into office.
Everywhere in the world, these things happen. My family lives in Canada. You mentioned your family lives also in the UK. Just a few months ago, some guy with a knife went in Canada, in provincial Canada, and killed about 13 people with a knife. You can't say because of that government of Canada is not responsible.
No, we're not.
I'm just talking about criminality.
Yeah, but
there's criminality everywhere.
I understand that, but we're talking about the scale of that criminality.
Yes, the scale of it is something that's been building up. I always tell this.
Yeah, if it's been building up, then it means you failed to arrest it, and it kept building up.
No, it has been tackled. It has been tackled very aggressively. You remember that during 2015 elections, the elections had to be postponed for 2 weeks, so that we can recover large sweats that have been taken in this country. And all those places are still within Nigerian control.
Mr. Nibiru.
See what we are having now. Yeah. You don't have what used to be Boko Haram coming like a military movement. What you now have are like guerrilla. It's a guerrilla affair. And guerrilla warfare, you remember even the UK, how it was so difficult with the IRA.
Yeah, but
with UK, with all this technology.
But to somebody who is attacked, whether by bandits, by Boko Haram, by armed robbers, it makes not a jot of difference. The fact is that they have been the victims of massive insecurity in the country. It doesn't make any difference. You can tell them that you've defeated Boko Haram. It makes no difference to them because they've just been attacked by bandits. Well, what I'm keen to hear from you is I'm very curious to understand where the confidence, some would say arrogance, that your campaign council displays comes from. I mean, there is the perception that you've let the people down in your 8 years in office, and yet you have the arrogance to strut around demanding of the people
I don't agree with
that,
you,
that they vote for
Charles.
you, and you don't even have the your presidential candidate that you talk about, that you're a member of his campaign council, doesn't even have the courtesy to sit with the representatives of the people who are the media in this country and put his stall before them. I mean, every argument we hear is the reasons why he's not going to do it, and why he's got this new thing that is supposed to be, you know, teamship or whatever the blue blistering barnacles he calls it. I mean, you have to wonder. That's why I'm asking you, where does that arrogance come from?
Let me tell you this straight away.
Yeah.
I have walked this path before. I remember the issues. I see the issues about Arise, APC campaign, and all that. You know, I don't want to go into that.
In fairness, that's not what this discussion is about.
Yeah. I know, but it's part of it. It's part of it. I faced a similar issue when I was presidential spokesman during the elections. That time there was this TV channel called NN24, and they came and said that they were conducting presidential election debates, and I said no.
Was that in 2015?
Yes. Yeah. No, that was 2011.
Right.
That was 2011.
Because I was going to say you lost in 2015.
No, that was 2011.
Yeah, okay.
We won then. You see, by 2015, I was at NAN. I was in Nigeria. I wasn't in the villa anymore. I put my foot down and I said, no. In Nigeria, there is a body called Nigerian Election Debate Group. You understand? It's a body. Let's allow this body organize debates. But I don't want to go into all that.
Right.
You're talking about arrogance of the APC. APC is not about arrogance. It's a fact that APC has achieved. There's a lot that's been done. Just like I pointed out, I'm not your typical government apologist. I'm a journalist. I'm very critical in my thinking.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, I'm very critical in my thinking. That's why I told you when we started that a lot has been done. Of course, while you are working in this direction, things still go wrong. You are government. You understand?
That's fair enough.
Yes, you are government, you are not God. Things will still go wrong.
Right.
But now, you move every day. I keep saying that about insecurity. Look at our security agencies. These guys are retraining every day because what we are confronted with is not what they're trained for. These guys are trained to go to war against foreign countries. They are not trained to go to war against indigenous populations. You have terrorists that are embedded in indigenous populations. How do you pick out the terrorists without committing mass murder? Because that's the headline of tomorrow. Nigerian army kills 300 civilians. It has collateral damage. So how do you do surgical strikes to take these people, your target, out within the mass of the people? These are people who were like the Palestinian Intifada. They hide behind women and children. They are cowards. You understand? How do you extract these people? It's a very difficult thing, my brother. Yeah. We are journalists. We are very senior journalists. Yeah. And we must be objective. Yes. I'm not speaking at this point. This is not about APC or anything.
No, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. But the point remains that the way that politics works and the way that people work, when they give you a trust, that trust is based on you making a pledge to them that you're going to do certain things. And when you fail to do those things, you should have the honor of stepping aside and letting someone else do it.
You have not failed. And you have not failed. APC has not failed.
Of course you've failed.
No, APC has not failed.
If that is if that is the criteria,
the point I'm making,
if insecurity has worsened and you said you were going to eliminate insecurity, and you even gave timelines.
I do not tell you.
You gave timelines by which time you were going to end insecurity, and those timelines have come and gone.
Let me point out to you that APC has not failed. the initial calculations have also changed. No part of Nigeria is under Boko Haram rulership, where you had people hoisting strange flags, within the territory of Nigeria. That is gone.
Yeah, but that's just one aspect of insecurity.
Like I told you, what we have now is almost like guerrilla warfare tactics. You understand? Which the armed forces, they are tackling every day.
Right. Okay. Let's move away from that.
You cannot say because of that.
Let's move away from that, because you must admit that beyond all of that, yes, you have. Let's look at the political sphere. You have a tripartite problem in the elections. You not only have to deal with the PDP, which was the subject of the opening of this discussion, and that was the only real force that you faced in 2015 and 2019. But you've also now got to overcome the Labour Party and the NNPP. How challenging is that? How challenging is that likely to be for you?
Well, let me tell you. When I started, I told you that, these are the best of times for APC. At the national level, even at the state level. At my state. Because, in the first place, the main opposition I see is the PDP. Of course, Labour is making a lot of inroad, but it's a new thing, it's a new phenomenon. Give them some years to mature. I don't see Labour as taking the presidency yet, but that's beside the point. My point is that at the national level, PDP is in this array. And the same thing in national level is what obtains even at the state level. In my state, Delta, I can tell you. In the choice of, in the first place, I told you earlier on how Okowa deceived the whole of southern Nigeria and went and picked up the gubernatorial ticket. Delta people are very, very angry about that. And in this same thing, he did the same thing in choosing their gubernatorial candidate. And the party is torn right down the middle. In fact, not right in the middle, because the majority of the party is outside the party right now. The group that James Ibori leads, they are totally out of the party right now. They may still call themselves PDP, but they have nothing to do with what this thing that's going on. This is a party that my colleague Ladan Saili was talking about, somebody boasting about money and all that. All that is nonsense, because this party is a party that went and chose my state governor Okowa because they know that that's how they're going to get money to fund their presidential elections. This is a governor that has received 3.5 trillion in 7 years, and Delta State is a mess. Delta State is a mess. This is a governor that has borrowed an additional 400 billion in a state where poverty walks on 4 legs. This is PDP. This is the image of PDP that people have. I'm just using Delta. Delta, we call Delta a micro Nigeria, because in every 5 kilometers you have different ethnic groups. That's how Nigeria is. PDP is reviled in Nigeria, in Delta State. PDP is I lack words to describe how angry people are. Right now, PDP cannot campaign. They are the government, but they cannot campaign in many places. The last place they went to campaign, they attacked them. I heard the governor candidate lost his Rolex watch.
Okay.
So you understand? So let me tell you, at the national level, this is the same thing.
Okay. Well, I want to.
Yes. No. Let me.
Very quickly, because
very quickly. You see, this is a party that cannot put its own house together.
Right.
A party where you have 5 governors who are what I call principled objection.
Right.
Yes,
okay. I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but I'm afraid I'm out of time, because the format of this program is that we have our analyst at the end to assess what you have said. But please come back and talk to us again. Ima Niboro is a spokesperson of the APC Campaign Council in Delta State and a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you.